Hello friends, this is Sanket. Our today's topic is local notification implementation in iOS applications. Now in previous session we had discussed about the types of notification. So now here there are the two different types of notification in iOS application. One is local notification and second one is push notification. So now in this session we have to implement a local notification in iOS application. So now let's start the new projects. So now here I am using one single view application, then click on next, write down your application name. So now here my application name is local notification example. So now click on next and create. So now here I am implementing the local notification in iOS application. So now first, whenever you implement such kind of functionality, you have to require to get some permission from your user side, because notifications are provided your device. It means whenever you schedule a set a types of notification using the local or push, first we have to require to get such kind of permission from the user side, it means device side. So now how to set a permissions? So now first, whenever you use a local notification, for implementing the local notification, Xcode is provide one framework. So now first we have to require to add this framework in your application. So now how to add it? So now simply just go to your root directory. Now just go to build phases, then a link binary with libraries. Now click on add button. Now here you can see here there are lots of frameworks are there, but here we have to require user notifications dot framework. So now simply just search it and now select and click on add. So now this framework is added in your application. Now in your application you can see the frameworks folder has been created. Now in your appdelegate.zip file, so now this is the best operation for this scheduling and getting such kind of permission from your user side. So now for the getting a permission, we have used a did finish launching with options function. So now here in this class, it means in your appdelegate class, we have to require to a request for the notifications permissions. So now how to request and how to set it? So now first, before we implementing, we have to require to import our user notifications framework. Now then after here, first I am getting a permission from your design. So we have to use a did finish launching with option. So now let's try to implement. So now here for the accessing any notification type service, okay, according to scheduling, according to permission, we have one class. It's a UN user notifications center. Okay, so now here we have to use this class with method as a dot current. Now for the permissions, we have to use one method for this class is dot request authorizations. Now this functionality is a mandatory to get a permission before implementation your notification. So now here in this method you can see it's required a two different argument. One is option and second one is completion handler. So now here what about the options? So now for the notifications, our notification has been provide three different types of option. So now how to use it? So now here you have to use in array format. So now our first option is, so now you can see the alert, badge and a sound. So now these are the mandatorily option you to use a notification. So now here you have to use as per your requirements. So now here I am using dot alert. Here if you want a badge number of your icon, so now you have to also set this option dot badge. Then after you have to use also as a sound. So now you have to also use option as a sound. Then after, the second argument is completion handler. So now here, according to as a permission, you have to set as a argument in. It means here you have to write down your message after execution the permission. So now here, for example, here I am printing one message, it's a permission granted. Okay, so now means whenever you run your application and first time, then after your did finish launching option means this function will be called. Okay, now according to this function we have to require to send a permission, means send a request for this notification for our device. So now first you have to get this permission, then after you have to implement your notification. So now first we have to check. So now run your application. So now first here we have to check this class, a UN notification center dot current dot request authorization. So now here first we have to check this permission, your device has been granted or not. So now here I am executing, means running my applications. Now see the output first. Okay, now hold it, your application is on the way. Yeah, see. Okay, so now whenever you implementing the such kind of functionality, for example notification, so now here you can see you have to require to first get permission from your user, it means your device. So now here you can see notification example, it means your application name. Now would you like to send you notifications? So now here you have to option don't allow and allow. Okay, now you can see again a notification may include alerts, sound and icon badge. This can be configured in setting. So now we will set it. So now here I am using as the allowing, so just click on allow. So now here you can see, okay, a permission is granted. So now here whenever you implement a notification, first you have to set a permission from user side using request authorization method. Now let's try to implement, means let's try to schedule a notification. Okay, so now how to schedule it? So now simply just go to the view controller.zip file. So first here I am designing such control for the notification scheduling. So now just go to the main.storyboard. So now here I am using first my background color. So now here I am creating one button for the set notifications. So now here I am designing one button and I have to modify the button title. So now here my button name is set notification. Then after I have to change the height and width of this button, and then I have to also change the font size and the button background color. Okay, so now let's try to implement the action of this button. So now simply create action. So now here I am creating one button action btn underscore set notifications. Okay, so now here let's try to implement, means using this button we have to schedule a notification in our device. So now how to set it? So now in this button first we have to set one object. So now here I am creating one object, a set notification. So now for the using a local notification we have to require a UN mutable notification content class. So now here we have to use UN mutable, but here you can see there is no any suggestion according to this class because we have to require to import user notification framework, because whenever you use such types of class and methods, so now that class is from the user notification. So now before we implementation we have to require to import your notification framework, then after you have to use it. So now here I am using one class UN mutable notification content. So now here you can see Okay, so now for creating any notification, we have to require this class. It's a un not mutable notification content. Now then after, first we have to set some kind of functionality using objects. So now set notification dot, first here I'm using a title. So now you have to set your notification title. So now here, for example, my title is iOS notifications. Okay, so now here you have to set a title as per your application requirement. Then after, I have to use a second method as a subtitle. So now you have to also use a kind of subtitle, it means kinds of description. So now here I am using a local notification example. So now this is my subtitle. Now then after, you have to also use a body of notification pop-up. Okay, so now again you have to also set a body as per your requirement. So now here my body is, this is local notification using user notification framework. Okay, so now this is my body. So now you have to also set as per your requirement. Now then after, if you want a badge number of your application icon, so now here you have to use set notification dot badge. So now this property is returning a kind of number. So now you have to set any number. For example, here I am using a 1. Now then after, you have to set a notification sound. Okay, means you have to set a specific tunes of this notification. So now you have to also use notification dot sound. Okay, so now how to set it? So now before we implementing these properties, first we have to require un notification sound dot default. Okay, so now this is the class with default method. So now here you have to set a specific sound, okay, of whenever your notification will be pop up, okay, means appear. So now this is the sound method. Now then after, when you need a notification, means according to schedule your notification, you have to set a specific time interval. So now how to set it? So now here I am creating one another objects, it's called trigger. It means when you need a notification, means when you set the notification. So now here I am using a un time interval notification trigger class. So now this class is used to set a specific time on this notification schedule. Now according to this class, we have to require one method. So now here to use this method time interval and repeats. So now here you have to set a time interval, means when you need. For example, here I am sent a 10. So now 10, it means 10 seconds. So now then after set 10 seconds, your notification will be appear. Okay, then after you have to set a repeat option. So now boolean, it means true or false, but here I am using as a false. Okay, now then after, we have to set a notifications. So now here I am using first a kind of request. So now here I am using one class, sorry, object as a request. So now whenever you set a notification, first you have to retry a request from this un notifications request class. So now here I am using un notification request. Then after, we have to use this method as an identifier. So now here you have to set a specific identifier of your this notification. So now here, for example, my identifier name is iOS notifications. Okay, now you have to also set as per your requirement. Then content. So now here you have to pass un notification content. It means here you have to set your this object. It means set notifications objects. Then after, when you need a notification, so now here this argument is retrieved to get your trigger objects. So now here I am using my trigger objects. So now here your notification request has been set. Now then after, you have to add a notification in your device. So now how to use it? So now here you can use a UN user notification center class dot current dot add. Okay, so now here I am using as a add. So now add, it means, so now here you to pass your UN notification request. So now here I am pass my request objects, and then with completion handler. So now here it's not required. So now here I am using as a nil. So now here on this button click, I am scheduling one notifications. Okay, so now this notification will be pop up after 10 seconds, because here I am using a UN timer interval notification trigger class. So now using this class, you have to scheduling a notification as per your time interval. So now let's try to check. So now run your applications. So now here I am scheduling a notification using UN mutable notification content. Now apart from, you have to also use a UN notification content class, because mutable notification and only notification is both are same. So now here your application is running. Now just click on this button and simply the lock or screen, or otherwise you have to back on your main menu. So now you have to see the notifications. Now see, this is the our notification. Okay, so now this is the local notification. So now here I am using a UN mutable notification class. Now here you can see the notification is occurred. Now your application icon has set a one badge number. Okay, so now whenever you use this application, now again here I am set the notification here, and now simply I'll lock my device. Okay, so now you can see the notification is also appear on your lock screen. So now this is the notification types. So now here I am using such kind of notification. Then after, you have to configure your notification setting in your setting application. So now just go to the setting application. Now you have to changing a notification configuration. So now here you can see, okay, the notification. So now there are the three different types of notification types. So now you can see, if you want a notification on a lock screen, so now you have to use this option. Okay, if you want a notification in notification center, you have to also configure this option. If you want a notification as a banner, okay, so now you have to also use this option. So now you have to configure your notification setting in your setting application. So now this is the user notification. So now here I am creating a UN notification content class for creating a notification. Now here you can see second option, your application icon still appear a badge icon, because here for example I am read this notification using my application. Just now, then after, your application badge has been removed, but here you can see it's a still appear. So now how to remove this badge icon? So now here in your appdelegate.swift file, you can see one option as a function, application did become active. So now here I am implementing a such kind of code. So now here I am using UI application dot shared dot application icon badge number. So now here I am using as a 0. Okay, so now here it means whenever your application is become active, then after your application icon badge number is 0. So now here for example you can see still your application icon with a 1 badge number. Now here I'm running my application again. So now you can see your application icon badge number has been removed. It means 0. Okay, so now here you can see, okay, right now my application is running mode. Now just go to your home screen. So now you can see, okay, your application icon badge number has been removed. So now at that time you have to use a such kind of function like application did become active. So now this is the local notification example. Here I am creating one notification and then scheduling when you need using a time interval. Then after you have to also set a particular title, subtitle, body, sound as per your requirement. So now this is the example of these local notifications. Thank you.